Hey, what's up you guys, it's Ethan and I'm back with another awesome video. This one is pretty interesting, I guess. I mean, don't look at me differently when I tell this story because I was kind of mean in this video, but yeah, so don't think I'm a horrible person because I'm not. I swear I've never done this to anybody before. I just was extremely annoyed by everything leading up to this point. So yeah, needless to say, it was not as fun of a night as I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? So it's fine. At least you know they're wrong and you can grow from them and change. So let's get into the video. So this happened in about I think it was 2016. My dad is a big Atlanta Falcons fan. And his boss, he had what do you call those? Are they season tickets or something? And he was gonna go, but I think they had something family-wise come up, and he knew that my dad loves the Falcons, and they're a family of four, we're a family of four. So he gave us the tickets. We decided, okay, that's cool, we should go, you know? So, I mean, obviously my dad was super stoked and excited. These tickets were super cool. So, I mean, it came down to the day that we were going down there, and we get down to Atlanta. This was before the Georgia Dome was torn down. I think it was torn down the beginning of this year, I'm pretty sure, which is kind of sad because, I mean, it wasn't that old, it was nice. Now there's the new Mercedes Stadium down there. So we get down to Atlanta and we have a parking pass. I mean, this dude had everything. So he had a parking pass for parking lot A, which is, I think it was the closest parking lot to the Georgia Dome, which wasn't really that close anyway. All the parking lots were kind of further away, but I mean, we didn't have that much of a walk to actually go there. After we parked, we had to go underground, or something, and there was the subway. We would take the escalator out of the subway and we would walk down the sidewalk, walk across the street, and boom, there we are. And it was not that far of a walk. It was great. I mean, super cool. We were all excited, had our Falcons shirts on, you know, it was gonna be fun. And we walk up to the what do you call those, the turnstile things, right? I don't know. But we walked up to those, and my dad goes first, then my sister. There's a bee that is just flying right outside my window, just staring at me. I guess I'm entertaining to you. Hello, bee. It's great to see you. I have a fan. So then my mom is fixing to go, and I'm behind my mom. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't bring your purse in here, which that was a rule. You have to have a clear bag if it's however big. And my mom's purse did not fit the size limit, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to leave that in the tent or whatever. And my mom's like, heck to the no, I'm not leaving that in a tent. I mean, because it wasn't very well guarded anyway. There was one stupid security guard out there. They were just standing at the entrance, so literally anybody could have walked under the tent, grabbed a purse, and left, and nobody ever would have known. So I mean, it's kind of stupid. And so my mom's like, that's dumb, because we didn't know the rule, you know? I mean, so we were kind of ticked off. And my sister and my father left us high and dry. They already went inside without us. So we were like, well, I guess we're going back to the car. So I stayed with my mom. It was you know, late afternoon, so the sun was already partially down, so all the alleyways and everything were kind of shaded. We cut down a couple alleyways to get to this parking lot. We saw this dude, I guess he was homeless, I don't know. I mean, I felt bad for him, but he was kind of scary. So it was this guy, and he had gold teeth, and he had the little mug thing, you know, and he was sitting on the side of the road just staring at us yeah, he kind of freaked us out. And I was already really ticked off, and so was my mother, because we didn't want to leave your purse in the car or in a tent in the middle of freaking Atlanta. Like, are you kidding me? So we get like halfway through this parking lot, and there was this like group of maybe, I would say, late 20, early 30-year-old guys. And they were all like way taller than me. I was maybe like, in 2016, maybe, let's just say 5'9". And my mom, you know, she's like 5'4.5", almost 5'5". So, I mean, we're not the tallest people in the world, you know. We're walking by them and they're having like, you know, one of those parking lot party get together things. Everybody's drinking, everybody's like, yeah. And they had like their big jacked up trucks, like their beer, like everything. I'm not into that, never have been. It just kind of ticks me off. So, and then they started screaming at us about my mother, like about my mom, like really creepy, sexual, weird compliments and things, which I'm not gonna like say on here just because like I don't want to like freak people out, but it definitely irritated the crap out of me because there was like beep 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 beep, and yeah, it was interesting. So I was kind of like and my mom was like, it's fine, just ignore them, it's fine. Like, my mom is usually like, rise above, like, show Christ, be a good person. And then there's me, and I'm like, my mom is such a good person, I love her. And then there's me. We get to the car, and we're afraid these people are still watching us. And so we like stuff my mom's like purse underneath the seat like as much as we possibly can so like it won't be seen. My lips were actually really chapped too. This is random, but just another horrible thing that's happened to me. And we had chapstick in the car, and my lips were like, you know, cracking, and they were really irritated. And so I opened the chapstick and it pours out. It's like melted. It was disgusting. It poured out all over like that little area in between the two front seats. I don't know what you call that, but, and it was gross. And so we were really ticked off and really annoyed, like, and so we were like trying to wipe it off, and I was like super angry. And by this point, my dad's phone called us, and someone answered it, and it did not sound like anybody that we knew before. And we're like, hello? Like, who is this? And they're like, it's me. And we're like, me who? And it was my sister, but it didn't sound like my sister on the phone. So we were like, what the heck? It didn't even sound like you. And she's like, well, it's me. Like, and so we're still on the phone, and my mom was like, is dad there? And she's like, yeah, he's like sitting right next to me, like, you want to talk to him? And so we're like, yeah, sure, why not? And so, you know, she puts him on the phone as we're walking back down the parking lot. And my dad's like, hey, where are y'all? And my mom's like, well, if you would have waited outside, you would have known that we had to go all the way back to the car to put my purse in the car. And we obviously got her wallet out and everything because we would need that stuff. So we didn't leave anything like valuable in the car. He was like, oh, really? Like, I didn't know. And we're like, yeah, no duh. And by this point, we're passing by these two people again. And I'm already like pushed to the limit. I mean, normally I'm a pretty chill, calm person, but if you tick me off, like, you're going to have hell to pay. Like, I'm gonna blow up, and it's just not gonna be a good thing. I mean, I'm such a great person, I swear. So I'm on the phone, you know, with my dad, and my mom is standing right next to me. And to be honest, I still can't believe that I actually did this, and I still can't believe my parents didn't kill me. But, I mean, you know, after this, we never talked about it again. And yeah, so we're walking by those men again, and they keep screaming like really, really horrible, inappropriate, awful, like sexual things to my mother. And like, hey, is that your mom? She's like one all sorts of stuff like that. I said, what's that, Dad? I can't hear you over this who won't shut the up. And I screamed it, like, so everybody could hear it. And my mother was like, whoa, chill, little dude. I'm sorry. Like, we didn't mean to, like, I'm sorry. And I think I freaked everyone out. And so I was just like, my dad was like, what? And he's like, what the heck just happened? And I was like, I'll tell you later. Don't think of me differently. I swear I'm a good person. My face is so red right now. Oh my gosh. Well, my mom didn't really say anything like the whole rest of the time. She was just, I think she was in shock by the whole thing. Cause like, I'm not one to cuss out people. Like, I normally don't cuss. It's just not my thing, you know? I'm relatively a nice person. Even when you make me angry, I'm always pretty nice, you know? But I was pushed to the limit, and this night only gets worse and worse and worse. So, bear with me here. We get all the way back. We finally get inside the stupid building. These idiot security guards are like, okay, like, you can go in. I hate the security guards at this stupid Georgia Dome, too. Like, ugh, they're so dumb. And they're always so dull, and they're kind of rude. I'm like, okay, like, you have a job, enjoy what God gave you, and be a nice person. Yeah, they shouldn't be that way, but aside from the point, we finally get inside, and our dad and my sister, they came to the door and, like, waited on us. And we're like, yay, we're finally here. And they're like, yay, you're finally here. And my dad, he doesn't ask me about what I said. Like, I mean, my mom doesn't ask about what I said, and they all act totally normal. They can probably smell, like, the anger in me, like, so they're like, I'm not gonna taunt the beast, you know, like, I'm gonna blow up. So, I mean, I was still, like, you could tell I was completely ticked off, because, I mean, you know how, like, when people are angry, you can totally tell in their facial expression, because they're just like, so, I mean, that was pretty much me. So, I mean, they were just trying to, like, stay their distance, and I don't blame them, because I was probably terrifying. So we get all the way up, like, to the section that we were sitting at, and we were actually on the second row, which is pretty cool. We were in seats 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think, of the second row. So right off from the staircase. We're like, oh my gosh, this night is gonna be so much better. Now that we're inside, like, nothing bad can happen, right? Like, we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be a great day. Like, everything's good. So we get down to where our section number is. We see our section number and we go down the row, get all the way down to where our seats are. And there's like a whole nother family that's sitting where we're supposed to be sitting. And at first we're like, oh, whoops, wrong row. Like, let's go back up, find our area. We look at the sign, we look at our tickets, we look back at the sign, look back at our tickets, and we're like, those were our seats. So we go down there. My dad was like, excuse me, these are our seats. And they're like, excuse me, no, they're not. We were here first. And I was like about ready to explode. So I was like, look, that's our seat, move. I was mean. I was just not in a good mood. Like, I was already angry, so don't cross me. And they're like, okay, like, chill, rude. And so they like finally got up and left, and I was like, yeah, you better leave. And so we sit down and get everything situated, and then we're like, okay, like, we're hungry, like, we want food. I needed food. We go back and we're like, okay, like, I think that we want pizza because we haven't had pizza in like forever. So we go to like the pizza thingy that they have there, and they are out of freaking pizza. Like, how? So we go and we're like, okay, fine. I want a hot dog. Let's go get a hot dog. They were out of those. How? So then we're like, okay, I want a burger and some fries. Let's go. And guess what? Can you guess? They were out. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, the Georgia freaking Dome, out of food. Like, why? So then we go to this nasty butt place and get this weird food. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even remember it. Like, it was just weird. So we get it, and we eat, and I did not like it. I was like very angry. I was just so mad. I was so mad. So we go back to our seats. We sit down. By this point, I'm pretty sure the game had already started, and we're eating this nasty crap, which I blocked out of my brain. I don't even remember what we got. But so we're watching the game, you know, eating our food, and we're sitting there, and there's pretty much not a lot of people around the area that we're sitting in. And then these two extremely loud, I think they were speaking Spanish, but I know they were speaking a different language. And they sat next to me, like right next to me, because I was on the end, like farthest from the staircase. And they're like screaming, like and they're talking really loud, and just like, they're not even screaming, you know, like the occasional like touchdown or whatever. Like, they were just like obnoxiously loud. Like, they were just talking about everything, eating, like, whoa, so annoying. And I was about ready to like rip my own ears off. Like, I was so mad. Then these younger guys and girls come and sit behind us. There was a boy with brown hair, maybe 20s, sitting behind me. A African-American girl and an African-American guy, and then a blonde girl all the way at the end where my dad, like behind my dad. And they all had beer. And they stood up, you know, to scream like touchdown or whatever. And he dropped his beer in the floor, and it exploded. And it shot all over me. As if I wasn't ready to explode before. I stood up and I was like, what the f-? And I pick it up and I spray it like backwards towards them and throw it back there. And I was like, seriously? And he's like, oh my God, dude, I'm like so sorry. Here, like take a napkin. And I was like, no freaking duh, freak. Like, hate you. I'm sure I said some other selective things, which I'm not gonna say on here because I still want you guys to believe I'm a nice human being. So, I mean, here I am, a 16-year-old kid in the middle of Atlanta who smells like beer. That's a great time, right? Oh dear God. It's a good thing I didn't see a police officer. So I was really annoyed and really stressed out, and we sat there, you know, we sat back down. They were relatively quiet for the rest of the time because they know I was really, really ticked off. I'm getting worked up. I need the water. Okay. There's nobody sitting in front of us on the front row either. And then like these two, I guess they were like best friends, and they had their stupid little beers too because everybody has to drink nowadays because it's fun. Ugh, idiots. This white guy and this black guy, they sat down like in front of me, and they were like really quiet, like really calm. They just looked like they were coming to enjoy, have a good time. Then these poor men, like this stupid lady, they came, and they're like, she was obviously and she talked like, where dude, like, I had so many beers tonight, like, it was so great. Like, I'm like, like, that's literally what she sounded like, I'm not even kidding. And it was all I could do not to like die of laughter or push her off of the railing. No, I'm just kidding, I'm not that mean. She was that annoying, and they're like, and she's like, oh my God, I'm like so high right now, like, my 15-year-old son, like, yesterday, like, you should have seen me yesterday, like, it was so much worse yesterday, like, my 15-year-old son, like, got to drive me home from, like, work, and, like, he doesn't even, like, have his license, like, isn't that super funny, like, he doesn't even have a permit, and they're like, oh, yeah, she had, like, a 9-year-old and, like, a 15-year-old, and I felt so bad for them, because they just sat there and just had to endure their psycho mother. She's just talking up a storm. These stupid people are loud beside me. These idiots are loud behind me. The idiot woman is loud in front of me. But, like, I mean, obviously, it's a game. They're gonna be loud, but they were annoying. You know what I mean? Like, they were just annoying. And I was already stressed out anyway, so, like, that did not help at all. So she's continuously talking, and she's just like, she has like 3 beers, and she's like, I need to go get some more beer. And so she like stumbles up the stairs and walks away, and they're like, oh my God. And so then she comes back with 3 more, and then she's like, oh my God, like, I need some more beer. And so she stands up again, and then she loses her balance, and keep in mind she was on the front row, and she flips over the railing. And literally, this dude, he was so nice. Like, if I had to endear her, I'm so mean. Like, I'm surprised he just didn't let her, like, fall because she was so obnoxiously annoying. Which, I mean, let's be real, I wouldn't have let her fall either. That's, like, rude. But, I mean, this guy, he was so nice. And so he dives, like, he dives out of his chair and, like, grabs onto the pockets of the back of her jeans, and, like, his friend jumps up and helps her, and like they pull her legs back up. I mean, if they didn't do that, she would have flipped into the field and like fell in the field and probably like broke her head or something. But so she's like, whoa, dude, like, you totally saved my life. Like, can I buy you a beer? And he's like, no, I think I'll buy you a beer. Like, you can stay here. And so they got up and left. And she's like, thanks, man. Like, you're so amazing. And so she sits down and she's just like doing stupid stuff, like, in her chair. And they leave and didn't come back for a very long time. I was very convinced that they just left or like watched the game from a more secure location. But he actually came back after a while and actually legit bought this woman a beer after she's had like 9,000. Like, girl. So, you know, she obviously is like, again. And oh my God. So at this point, since she's right in front of me, these idiots are right beside me, and this doofus head is like right behind me, I was like, Dad, can we switch seats? I'm sick of being enclosed by all these psycho freaks. And so he's like, yeah, sure. And so we switch seats, and now I am closest to the stairs. I'm sitting there, minding my own business, watching the game. It finally actually starts to, like, everything being calm. And then this jerk face blondie behind me, she knows what she did. She knows. She had trash on the floor, and she pushed it all the way through towards my seat. And I know what she was doing because she was looking down when I looked behind her and like looking where she was pushing it, and squished all of their trash up against the back of my feet, and I got mustard all over my white shoes. And they were my snazzy Converse. I was ticked. So I turn around and I'm like, and she looks at me like, and I was like, you jerk. And so I like grab a napkin, try to wipe off my shoes. Obviously the mustard did not come off. So we had to like wash them or bleach them or whatever we had to do. Thank God they were white Converse, because I would have been really ticked off if they were a different color. Ugh, the anger is burning up inside me again. My goodness. So I try to like calm myself down, have a good time. And then this guy from the opposite side of the staircase, he was on the front row, and he was like coming, making his way like all the way to the stairs. I would say this guy was in between like maybe 20 to 24. And I mean, oh my God. So you could tell he was extremely drunk. And he was like kind of stumbling down the aisle, and he gets to the stairs and he like grabs onto the railing and he starts like trying to like waddle up the stairs, and he just looks like ugh. And of course I switched with my dad thinking that it would make things better, made things worse, got mustard on my shoes, and this happens. So this guy gets to where I'm sitting and he stumbles and he falls into my lap. Literally, he's like sitting in my lap, and his face is like up against my face, and he's like, whoa, dude, like, you saved my life, I'm so sorry. And he's like patting my face, stuck his finger in my mouth, and I'm just like, get off of you, freak. And so he like stood up and he's like, dude, you're like my lifesaver, man. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And he's so close to my face, and I was like, get away from me, you freak, before I stab your eyeball out. And so he like grabs onto the railing and he like stumbles up the whole staircase, and then I pay no attention to him. So then we decide to leave the game early because we're all pretty angry. No one's having a good time. Like, we can't enjoy it because everybody else is ticking us off. So, I mean, we stayed until like pretty much the end. And we decided to leave early because we're like, okay, we're going to be stuck in traffic, you know, like, let's leave now so we can try to beat most of it, which we did. So we leave. We type in the address for our house so we can figure out at least somewhat how to get home, you know. And the GPS kept recalculating, and it would send us down a circle. Like, we would go down the same road. We did it twice, and we're like, what the heck is happening? Like, and then by like the third time around, we were like looking for a police officer or like a worker, and there was like, I don't really know if, I think it was an officer that we stopped by. It was this lady. And we stop and we're like, hey, like, do you know how to get to blank road? And she's like, what? And we're like, do you know how to get to this road? And she's like, I've never heard of that road in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. And we're like, what the heck is wrong with you, you psycho freak? You work here, like, I hate you. She's like, she was very rude and snappy too. So we're like, okay, excuse me for asking then. And by this point, I think my whole entire family was really angry. My anger had rubbed off on them. It was just not a good night. We were not in a very good mood. And oh my goodness, I don't think I've actually told this story to a lot of my friends, to be honest. So surprise. We're horrible people. No, I'm just kidding. I swear we're nice people. We're nice. You gotta not push us to the limit. I mean, so yeah, then we made it home by like 11:30, 12, something like that. I went to sleep after taking a shower. Obviously, getting that nasty butt beer off me, and so that was the story of how I had a mental meltdown in Atlanta. And, you know, knowing the whole story, can't you see why? I mean, can you blame me? Can you really blame me? So yeah, that was the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give this video a like, thumbs up, you know, subscribe to my channel, and please turn on the notification bell so that you know whenever I post, so you can be the first one here to watch. And I guess I'll see y'all next week. Bye.